And welcome. Here we are.
Hello.
Hello.
It is so lovely to have you again. Have you next to me
And you next
in
to
the
me.
flesh, not on the
Not
screen.
remote. Yeah, it's good
Yes.
to be together again.
Hello and
Yeah.
welcome, our dear viewers. Join in, say hello, and we shall start.
We shall start because today we talk about light workers.
Yes, an interesting topic,
Yeah, it is. It is.
for sure.
And when looking into light workers, we see a lot of things that we have in common with them, and a lot of things where light workers are special. So it's yeah. What are light workers?
Yeah, well, let's start with a definition of a light worker. Definition in brackets, obviously, but it's good to be specific. And what do we mean when we talk about light
Yeah.
workers? So, those are spiritual beings committed to spreading love, healing, and positive energy to elevate themselves and others. They often feel a strong sense of purpose, of connection to the spiritual realm, um, dedicating their lives, their work, helping humanity and helping the planet within the transition into higher consciousness. In other words, saying in the human language, those are the people who dedicate their lives, their work to help others
Yeah.
using their spiritual gifts, their spiritual, sometimes senses, to help others to heal. And it's obviously something which is contributing to the world's energy, to the collective's energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And what we can say, if you say what are the few things that define the light workers? One, it's an innate calling, a
Mm,
calling to serve the world by raising spiritual awareness. Secondly, channeling healing energies, whether through spiritual practices, counseling, or simply through their presence
mm,
by being there. And they seek to improve and inspire and guide others towards personal and collective transformation. So it's really about transforming people one at a time
mm.
for the greater good,
Yeah,
for the greater good
absolutely.
of not just themselves and not just the other, but for the greater good of what you could call humanity. Yeah.
Mm. And one of the light workers I know is saying hello. All lovely people. Hello, Anna. So lovely to have you
Hi, Anna.
here tonight. That makes it a few of us here already. And I know that those who are watching us will resonate with being a light worker as well.
Yeah, some of them will already feel the calling or
Hmm.
have answered the calling and uh, and are on the path, either as new light workers or as light workers that come with a lineage of line workers that have light workers in their ancestry and stuff.
Mm.
That's one of the characteristics that you have these two types: the ones that are called to become, and the ones that are and have been from birth. Yeah.
Another light worker I know personally, Magdalena, says hi. Iron Fire Horse joined as well, saying hello
Hello,
to
Aryan.
Luna, which is myself, Jan, Anna, and probably Magdalena as well. Hello, lovely people. So great to
Yeah.
have you here tonight. Okay, let's talk about key characteristics apart from the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think the most important one of the most important characteristics would be empathy. That deep ability to sense and feel other people's energy, emotions, and those who are empaths will say that it's a blessing, but it also can be a burden, which I totally agree with, because it is what it is, especially around harsh environments with harsh energies. But in
Yeah.
general, it's a beautiful, beautiful
Uh,
gift,
um,
empathy,
yeah, empathy is a
feeling
lovely gift,
others.
feeling others, sensing others, uh, feeling the need to help others.
Mm.
That's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing. And yeah, what I would add to that is light workers. What you always see, what you see a lot, is they're connected to spirit.
Mm.
They're connected to
To
the
the
other
light.
realms, to the light.
Yes.
So they have a strong sense of intuition, a strong sense of inner knowing, feeling guided by the light, or feeling guided by spiritual forces.
Or guided by Luna.
Okay, yes, of course, or guided by Jan, which is not a term that existed
Yes.
yet. Yeah, so it's tapping into higher consciousness. That's why you see a lot of light workers also in the realms of psychics and people who work intuitively, and because they connect to spirit directly.
Absolutely.
And light working is all about connecting to spirit
Mm.
and working for the greater universal good.
Yeah. Healers, Reiki masters, Theta healers, and all the other modalities which use energy. Those are the light workers most of the time.
Yeah.
I am very empathetic, but don't consider myself to be an empathetic. If
An
that
empath, yeah.
yes, sorry, I need glasses. If that awesome sense, Iron Fire Horse says, as I said, empathy is, in my opinion, a key to understanding other people. It helps to tap in to understand others, what they're going through, in which stage of life or emotional stage are there. And those are usually people who want to help, who want to and have that ability to make things better.
They do, yeah. And from that comes the next trait, comes the next characteristic of a light worker, which is compassion.
Absolutely.
It's being compassionate. It's being, the desire to help and uplift others, and just so like you can be like Anfaro said, you can be empathetic, but you don't have to regard yourself an empath. But it's just a label, and the label doesn't always define what you are.
Well, you can be empathetic without being an empath, because that's the stage. However, with empaths, that feeling goes deeper. That feeling comes from energy, and being empathetic comes from the heart, comes from the goodness on that of the heart, comes from that compassion we just mentioned here. And compassion is one of the most important aspects of being human and for humanity, being able to help others, being able to connect with them and understand them and know where they're coming from. And it's important with other humans, but it's also important towards animals, towards planets. My compassion goes really deep to the animals. I am vegan. I have a vegan lifestyle, which the basic of it is to make no harm, just like in yoga. The basic of yoga is to not to harm. And the same principle is with veganism. And this goes not just to animals, but to the entire planet and humans as well.
Yeah, and the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's where you have the link to the light worker, because it's the light, the universal light that shines from that shines on compassion, that brings on compassion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's the need, the desire to help, the desire to help.
The desire to help to make the world a better place.
And unconditionally.
Yes, absolutely.
Unconditionally. That was the word I was looking for.
it happens.
That happens.
I'm actually surprised, but it happens.
Yeah.
Iron Fire Horse says, yes, compassion is very important in Buddhism as well. Absolutely.
that's true.
So this is
that's true.
the key which connects many religion, many spiritual modalities. Absolutely. It's I think it comes from an open heart. It's a natural result of opening and expanding heart chakra. Moving on, another key characteristic of a light worker is being sensitive, the sensitivity to ours, that heightened awareness of energy, of other people's emotions, environment, surroundings, and that awareness here is the key.
Yeah, and that sensitivity comes naturally. It's not by education or by norms that were set in the world, or like it's natural. It comes. The sensitivity is an add-on on the empathy, where you feel what you can say and what you better not say, for instance, or what you better not do. It's being sensitive to other people's feelings in a good way,
but also to your own feelings, to your
Definitely.
own energy.
Yeah. And and that there you get the last characteristic, which is the purpose, passion, purpose driven, being purpose driven, feeling it's part of yourself. It's a necessity. You need to be a light worker. So there's a feeling of being here to make the difference in the world. It's why are you here in the world? I am here to make a difference. That's a key characteristic of a true light worker.
Most light workers are easy to spot because they have that aura around it. They have that light within them. You look at them and you see literally the light which they bring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Magda says, Ahimsa, if I'm pronouncing it properly from yoga, non-violence, do non-harm. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what you will, shall be the law. Love under law, love under will. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how do light workers manifest?
Yes, as we humans, we like to put labels. We like to categorize people.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to say hi here.
So light workers manifest, express their calling in various ways. They express their callings as healers, as guides and teachers, as creators, activists, intuitive workers, healers.
Yeah.
I'll do this. Come here. Our producer says hi.
Yes.
Hello.
Actually, it's been a while since she last time appeared on the show, so it's about time. You can't see her tail, but it's wagging like crazy. She's very happy to have Jan next to her. Yes, but I'll try to control her here a little bit, which is not possible.
Yeah.
Say hi to everyone. Yes, so let's start with the healers. What actually healers are? What are the characteristics of what is a healer? It's the practitioner of energy healing, because we are not just made out of the body. We are also energy. We do have emotional body. We do have energetical body.
Yeah.
So, for example, Reiki practitioner, which I mentioned already, is Karma, a light worker. She definitely is. Hello, Richard. So lovely to have you here tonight. She definitely is. She brings so much light to this world, so
and
much
healing.
love and healing. It's just unbelievable. The amount of unconditional love she brings everywhere she goes is just one of the key characteristics for her.
So light workers identify as or manifest themselves in their healing modality, like you said, Reiki, but also I think reflexology, various types of healing massage, emotional healing, acupuncture. You would more see them in what's called the alternative circuit than in the regular circuit.
Yes.
They're the alternative or the additional healing modalities that where you see the light workers
Mhm.
tap into or work with.
Yes, theta healers, even people who work with emotional code, body code. There's all type of. There is a big group of different type of healers
Yeah,
who dedicate their work and often their lives to help others to heal, to sort often non-physical, but very often physical problems and issues as well, emotional one.
yeah,
This is a big part of my life as well. I identify myself as a healer as well. And believe it or not, there is a lot of healing work coming from coaching and tarot. We
mm,
both, with Jan, having sessions with people, help them heal, help them overcome so many situations
that's it.
mm,
Yeah.
of their mind, body, and soul.
Especially the soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. The second type of light worker would be, then we can go more into the druidic part of the world, where you have the guides, the teachers, the mentors, uh, the spiritual guides,
Gurus.
the gurus and wise people. Yes, sharing wisdom and sharing spiritual practices, teaching, helping others connect with their higher selves. So it's also connecting to the calling of the higher self, and it goes not only through theory but also, of course, to practices, meditation practice, connecting with
Mm,
the realm of plants, animals, spirit, animism, like connecting to nature, rivers, rocks,
mm,
mountains. It's the wide aspect where you become, yeah, a guide into the into understanding the world around you, and
mm.
in the understanding the bigger pictures that are there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those would be also ascended masters. It doesn't have to be a person who has a physical form, a
No,
physical body. And it is important to mention here that those are the guides and the spiritual masters who we connect within our spiritual practices.
we do.
Yes, another group would be creators, like artists, writers, musicians who channel the light. I know,
Into their work.
yes, sound healers, for example, like Richard and Magdalena. My favorite, Mylene, which is a beautiful singer. She has just an angelic voice, which is healing, which this it's just like the angels would come to an earth and sang through her channel. And the music and art in general can be very healing, and it's a beautiful way of expressing our sensitivity, our empathy,
Definitely.
our way of understanding and seeing the world.
Spiritual art is so important. It's so inspiring to look at, to meditate on. It's uh, maybe Richard knows. I know that in Buddhism, people meditate on an image of the Buddha, but not all people would relate to that. But
Mhm.
you can image on these lovely, sometimes New Age types of shapes, just shapes and colors, and the creators of that could be identified as light workers
Yeah,
sometimes, or and identify themselves as light workers.
there is a lot of artists who work with sacred geometry, for example,
Yeah,
and they use that type of modality in their healing practice.
creators of tarot and oracle cards.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Oh
yes,
my
yes.
goodness. Tell me about it, which we can see on the shelf.
The shelves are
Um,
full of them. Yeah,
yeah. Poets, writers, people who even write books about their own experiences, how to heal. Like Tell Swan, for example, would be a good person to mention here. She's been through a really difficult life. She had a really difficult journey, and right now she's helping many people to overcome similar experiences. She teaches them how to love themselves.
and who's the name?
Tell Swan.
Oh, Till Swan. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Oh,
she's.
Jesus, yeah.
I'm a big fan
I'm a
of
fan
her
too.
and of
Yeah,
her
yeah,
work.
yeah.
She's just so
She's
inspiring.
controversial sometimes, but
very, but she's
I love it because she goes
straight to the
straight
point.
to the point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's very tough. She's she's occasionally blunt, but I like it. She goes straight to the point.
Absolutely.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Exactly. And sometimes we need to hear things as they are.
Yeah,
Sometimes sugarcoating is might seem to be a sensitive aspect, but sometimes what gets you is actually listening to the truth.
yeah,
It exactly the way it
yeah.
is.
And that's where you get to. So from the non-sugar-coated light workers, you get the wake-up call.
Yeah.
That's the
Absolutely.
wake-up call.
Yes.
They create the wake-up call because sometimes we are asleep and we think, oh, life is a drag, life is this and life is that.
Mm,
And then you come to the conclusion that you are the creator of your own reality. And you don't even always know it and you
mm,
don't even always understand it. But there's always ways forward. And sometimes it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of help. And especially when you are in trouble, sometimes getting in touch with the light worker and working with them and uh, will 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 create this moment of awakening and will create this moment of stepping into reality. Welcome into the
absolutely.
real world. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's how coaching is so important because a coach, a person who's outside of their life, can name things a person doesn't want to see. I'm also into not sugarcoating stuff. However, if there is a tough thing I have to tell to a client, I always ask, how honest on a scale from 1 to 10 you want me to be? So that's just an indicator that that's going to be something harder. If you can hear some noises, that's karma being naughty.
Yeah.
Yes, but activists,
Activists,
people
yeah.
who are an advocates for either social or environmental spiritual causes. The best example would be vegans, for example, who want to bring a positive change to the world. And yes, vegans are not the most liked group because they say the truth. They say how it is, and we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that we cause so much suffer.
Yeah.
Most of the times, people are not even aware how much animal suffering we're causing by choosing certain things to eat, making certain choices. And I never neglect other way of living. However, to me, that no harm is an important aspect of my beliefs. But obviously, you can have a different one. Iron Fire Horse says, my creation of 2024 for me has not been good, I guess.
Is that so? Iron Fire Horse. It's
Wait a second. Richard says, no sugar coating and right to the point. Sounds like Luna. Yeah, Richard knows me well.
That's how she is.
Oh well.
Yeah, you get you what you see is what you get.
Perhaps that's why I'm a vegan as well, because vegans like to be straight to the
Straight
point.
to the point, yeah.
For the greater good,
yeah,
of course, good of
yeah,
animals
yeah.
and the planet.
And sometimes it's hard to recognize within activist groups the light workers, because activist groups can be not just in your face, but can be just a nuisance to, in the general thing of society. And that I don't mean vegans there, but like sometimes Extinction Rebellion can take it a bit further. And I'm quite sure that within their ranks they have light workers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It doesn't always manifest as sweet and light and woohoo. There's
I think
way more than that.
yeah, I think the element of truth is here important.
Absolutely.
And truth is not always love and light, rainbows and butterflies. Truth can be really harsh. Truth can be in your face. Truth can be painful sometimes.
Yeah. But truth is what brings change into the world.
Absolutely. I
Because
agree with that.
without mentioning, without bringing things out into the open, the change will never happen.
Yeah, that realization is
Yeah.
here and important. Sometimes it's a first step into a massive and big transformation.
That's it.
Iron Fire Horse says, I don't call myself vegan either, but mostly am, but vegetarian too, and maybe meat a couple of times a month. And Richard says, well said, Jan. There are a lot of dark workers masquerading as a light workers. Absolutely.
That's so true. That's so true.
This is so
False lights, dark
Yeah.
workers. Dark worker was a term I didn't know yet, but I would call them false lights. But dark worker is even better.
I would say dark lighters as well, but that's because I'm a big fan of Charmed.
Okay.
Anyway, absolutely, and thank you for bringing this to the table, Richard, because this is so important. There are so many false people pretending to be spiritual, or even if in their beliefs they are spiritual, but they are actually sucking other people's energy, pretending to help, using the modern trends of holistic work, of alternative ways of healing for their own gain. And I think this is really important to mention that light workers, yes, it is a work, but that's the dedication and that's for the higher purpose. But those dark workers or dark workers often do it because of the personal gain and personal gain
Just for
only.
the personal gain.
Yes, because it's good to be a yoga teacher, for example, because it brings you a lot of money. But yoga teachers should live by the principles of yoga, and unfortunately, that's often not the case. And I'm not picking here on the yoga teachers. It's just an example, because it's the same with tarot readers, with healers, Reiki healers, who will just use the modality because it's trendy, because it's popular.
And that doesn't say that they don't have a right to make a living of it. You know?
Yeah, it's just that intention,
it's
which
the
makes
intent.
the difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing the work to the best of your ability, and an exchange is important.
Absolutely.
Because without an exchange, you'll starve.
We still have to make living.
And we need food. We need a roof above our head. We need our computers and our energy to sit in our own light here.
Absolutely. But in the universe, there is a place for everything. There is a place for light and there is a place for darkness, because that's what keeps the balance. And as long as there is a balance, it's all good. It's the universal law. But darkness tends to fight for...
And more clarity about that in our 4 previous episodes.
Yes.
Where we talked about shadow, darkness, and light as concepts, as spiritual concepts. And so I recommend, if you haven't done so, look back in our previous lives and find all these concepts there.
Yes, the last episode was how to turn yourself from the darkness towards the light.
Yeah,
yes.
Interesting episode. Yeah.
But back to the light workers. The last group here would be intuitive workers.
Us?
Yeah, like ourselves. Psychics, mediums, tarot readers who tap into their ability to channel guidance, clarity from higher realms. Because I can speak for myself, because every reader is different. But yes, some stuff comes out of myself, my experience, my way of interpreting cards, but mostly it's the guidance I receive and the cards used for me as tools to tap into that and open that. And I love this job.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and then for myself, I use my intuition too, of course. But I'm also someone who loves to see the tarot as the book of life, and that's the theoretical part where you see how the things are connected on a spiritual level. But sometimes your intuition gives you so much, and a combination of intuition and knowledge I love it. I love it.
Yeah, not to mention tapping into the ancient wisdom of traditional meaning of tarot,
Yeah.
which every card represents. And we have another Magdalena in the house. Hello, my
Hello,
dear. It's so
Magdalena.
lovely to have you here tonight.
So next,
Yeah.
mission.
Mission. We mentioned here that light workers come here with a purpose,
Yeah.
with the mission, and we touched on it a little bit
Yeah.
already. First, and I think foremost, yes, is to heal the emotional and spiritual wounds, not just on a physical level, but the level we cannot see, but we can feel. And that's probably the biggest part of Lightworkers' purpose and mission is to help humanity heal and to raise the vibration of individuals, because as individuals and as a collective, we are energy which vibrates on a certain frequency, and the way we feel has a certain frequency. The better we feel, the better, the more we are healed, the less negative stuff, shadow is within us, the higher we can vibrate, aka we feel better, we can manifest better, we are closer to God,
Yeah.
so to
That's it.
speak.
Yeah. And then bring it from this higher level all the way down to the most practical level, and that's where you guide people, where a light worker guides people towards self-awareness, towards spiritual awakening, and guide people towards creating a better world themselves, for themselves, and also for the collective. It's like converting people one at a time, and it takes a long time to get the whole of humanity. Probably will never get there, but raise the vibration of our species, raise the awareness of our species for the greater good.
Those who are ready, and they translate the woo into a human language, into an everyday thing, and into a practical thing.
So humanity in general goes to a higher level of consciousness through the workings of the light worker.
Absolutely. And we are witnessing that every day, especially now in the times of transition. We are moving into the age of Aquarius, so that the changes and transformation will be massive. And I'm so happy that I came here to witness that and be a part of it and assist and guide people and humanity in doing it.
Yeah. And then spread the love.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
In whatever way is suitable for you. Spread the love, like I said, person to person. We try to spread some love on our channel too.
Kindness, goodness, appreciation.
And making sure that whatever challenges the world has to offer, you guide people out of the fear that comes with the big changes and the big things that are going on in their lives and in humanity as a whole. You know, we have challenging times, and we can foresee challenging times ahead of us, and we can choose to fully ignore them, to live with them, or to work with them and transform them. That's the idea of the light worker, is to spread love and positivity, to counteract anger, fear, and negativity.
Yeah, it's like we have wars going on in the world, and at the same time we have Buddhist monks in Tibet who are meditating and praying for the peace almost 24/7.
Yeah,
this is that counter action, which is beautiful, and that's a beautiful mission and life's purpose.
And it's tipping the scale from the heaviness into the lightness again.
Yes. Darkness cannot live without the light, and light cannot exist without the darkness. This is the universal balance. This is the universal law that it will always exist. But we need to learn how to co-create our own worlds next to each other, accepting the differences of the other. Richard says here, spreading light, life, and love, one person at a time, is all we can do. And that's already a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah,
This is how we
absolutely.
can change the world by, first of all, changing ourselves. Oopsie, sorry, I pressed here something. There we go. By first of all changing ourselves, healing ourselves, and then not focusing on the entire world, but just on our surroundings, what we can do to improve our small universe.
That's it. Yeah. So how do we operate? How does a light worker operate? I say we are not necessarily identifying primary as light workers. We get to that later. But how do they operate? How does a light worker operate?
Mm,
So it's the energy work.
yeah.
It's meditation.
Mm.
It's listening, empathy.
Tapping into that higher wisdom, higher knowledge, which often is called higher self,
Yep.
that guidance of energy guidance, which knows more. It's like that eagle perspective the soul has, because the soul knows what's around the corner. We necessarily don't. But the higher self always knows and sees the bigger picture, the bigger purpose. Mhm.
They do. Yeah. Yeah. And then the practices are prayers, rituals, spiritual traditions. They draw upon like Druidism,
Mhm.
like ancient witchcraft, like herbology, um, like like everything where you could say it's channeling energy. You're channeling energy from the realm of spirit or
Mm.
from the earth or from the air around you, and channel it for the good.
Yeah, Richard says the higher nature, and I absolutely love that
Yeah.
expression
Yeah.
because that's what it is. Um, and also by what Richard said, doing the act of kindness, spreading the love, spreading the love and light, which sounds cliche, but that's exactly what it is. Being kind to ourselves and each other. Acts of love, acts of
Yeah.
positive gestures.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize what you say there. This the self love and the self care is extremely important.
Mhm.
It's also important, especially when you want to make it sustainable. And sustainable means when you can do it on the longer term. I see lots of people giving, 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 and they live miserable lives. And
Yeah,
that's you know, and what you see there is when you're not good for yourself, eventually you'll break.
exactly. You will eventually reach the burnout point
That's
because
it.
let's talk about tarot here for a second. In tarot, we have the analogy of cups. Cups is the energy of emotions of water, but let's use the analogy of a cup.
Yeah.
We cannot give from the cup which is not full. We can only give from what's overspilling from that cup, because if the cup is what we need, is our emotional needs, our physical needs, energy needs, and if we will take from that, take from what we have, which is not fulfilling ourselves, we're going to deplete ourselves, we're going to reach the burnout
Yeah,
point.
then the cup is no longer half full but completely empty.
Yes, and then what?
And then the giving is gone.
Yeah, it's
And
there
so
is a
those are hard.
lot.
Yeah.
Exactly, there is a lot of negative PR behind being selfish, but there is a fine line between selfish and being selfish. It is really important to put yourselves first, to put your needs above the others, and we tend to do the opposite, especially with the conditioning like I had, and those who are around me, that it is important to make others happy even if it's on your own cost,
Hmm.
which is not the way, at least not in my opinion, and I've learned it the hard way.
Yeah. No, someone else's happiness as such is not your responsibility.
Hmm.
You can help them. You can guide them. That's where the light worker comes in, as a helper, as a guide, as a mentor, as a as someone pointing in a certain direction and helping other people to reach that. But it's not It's not. It's like a catalyst. It
Exactly.
doesn't go. It doesn't deplete the cup of the light worker itself because it comes from
Mm.
the cup of plenty.
Exactly. And love yourself first. And if you do, you will see how much more you can actually give to others because the
Jesus,
cup
yeah,
will overspill. And that's the healthy way of giving. Mm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if you've been wondering, are you a light worker? We have few tips
Yeah,
on how to
yeah.
recognize and if you
It
can
in yourself or even in
in
others.
others.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you might be a light worker if you feel a deep sense of purpose that transcends material success.
Mm,
So it's not about just material success, it's purpose, passion, it's willing. Um, what I use a lot in my coaching as well is if you look at yourself, what do you do? Even what would you do even if you wouldn't be paid for it?
mm, yes, that's a
And
good
if you
question.
can turn that into life, and if that even revolves around helping others or spiritual work
Mm,
or the light work or the aspects we just mentioned earlier, then you could be right on your way to become a light worker,
yeah.
or maybe you are already.
In other words, if money wouldn't be an issue, if you would have all the money out in the world, what would you do? And if you would still choose to help people, there are big chances that you actually are a light worker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another trait would be being drawn to spirituality. And by spirituality, I don't necessarily mean the religious aspect of that. However, some religions tend to cooperate with spiritual and energy work of higher self of the soul,
Yeah.
but it's not always the case, obviously. But if you feel drawn to energy work, if you are in touch with your own soul, if you're in touch with the spirit world, there are some chances that you are indeed a light worker.
Yeah. Yeah. And from there, from the drive of spirituality and the drive to help other people, um, you are naturally empathic. You sense the emotions of others. You feel
Mm,
them. You see them. You can more or less you're open to their suffering.
mm,
You can see their suffering. You can feel it. You're empathic to their suffering. Doesn't mean you always have just the solution there. No, it's already, but it's a question of observing and noticing and knowing. Okay, this is
mm.
someone that might need a little help, and uh, then wait for them to ask for it. That's very
Or
important.
the other way around, you can shift the energy in the room, you can change and you can help to rise the vibration, aka you bring a lot of laughter to people's life. You have that ability, natural ability, to make people smile, to make people laugh, to
Yeah,
shift that energy naturally by, for example, doing something clumsy, not necessary on purpose. I am the person like this, and I know many persons, Anna, hello, like this, who bring so much joy and that light-hearted energy into other people's lives just by being
being
themselves.
yourself is most
Yes,
important. All the
saying
others,
something
yeah,
funny, because very often just one joke or even one smile can change other people's vibration and the state
definitely,
that they
yeah,
are. So this is always also important.
yeah. You also might be a light worker if you identify, or maybe you don't even know it yet, but you could identify yourself as a HSP, high sensitive person.
Mm,
When you walk into a room, there's negative energy, or you meet someone who radiates negative energy, and you feel drained immediately. That's the sensitivity that's
mm,
inert in you of the surroundings that are there. And yeah, when you're very sensitive to it, it's called high sensitivity, not for nothing. When you're sensitive to it, you might just be on your way to become a light worker. Yeah.
say I in the comments who resonates with that, and which one of you can sense the energy when you go in the room. There is no word spoken, and you already know that. For example, there was a fight in the room, or there is a tense energy, awkward energy as well. I'm sure many of you here watching can do that.
Yeah. So when you feel the urge to help others, of course, to be good to yourself, but to help others heal, grow, transform, then you might dive a bit deeper into the concept of a light worker and see for yourself if you already are one or can become one or whatever.
But Iron Fire Horse says I'm like that, and I'm not surprised.
Not at
to
all.
see that. And Clara says, "Sorry, I am well, so very well, so very well. Will definitely catch up. Wanted to say thank you for your two precious videos. Oh, you're welcome.
You're
it's
welcome,
a pleasure.
Claire. Thank you.
To share this with you, Clara, and thank you for your lovely words. Yes, but it's not always roses and butterflies and peaches and honey and milk, and because there are light workers.
Plenty of challenges.
Yeah, may face challenges, may face hardship, coming with being a light worker, being that highly sensitive person. Well, first of all, would be emotional exhaustion, because when we feel others, our bodies will go through those emotions too, like they would be our own. So this is important to be able to protect ourselves, first of all, but also cleanse the energy and be able to get rid of what's not ours. And especially empaths tend to do it naturally, that they just suck in other people's energy without even sometimes wanting to do it. It's a process which often takes place behind the scenes without the active aspect and without active participation in the process, and then they feel drained. And this is a big burden for light workers, because often they carry more than their own shite.
Yeah, and that goes unnoticed, but sometimes it goes noticed, and then you have what you can call the feeling of misunderstanding, of being misunderstood. The light worker, there's also a big risk in being a light worker and willing to help, because there you come. Sometimes you come to a level when you want to help, you're offering help, and it gets rejected. What should you do? Should you help anyway?
Yeah, that is a good question.
That's a tricky question, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm always the one that says, okay, if someone refuses help or doesn't want your help or doesn't ask for help, they're not deep enough into shit, I think. You know, it's...
yeah, well, I think it's an individual.
It's an individual
It's an individual thing, because from my experience, I am very protective of others, and I am going through something. I don't want anyone around me, because I feel that burden is mine, but that comes from that high sensitivity, because I feel other people, so I feel what they're going through, and I just don't want other people to suffer because of me. But absolutely, this is a big part, and we need to understand that it comes with it, and that's something we need to learn to deal with, and to recognize. I think that's really important.
And to recognize when your help is wanted. Sometimes it's very obvious. People ask you, "Can you help me?" Or people say, "Yes, I'm going through a program with you." So they're open to your message, and they take their own suffering there, and so that's important. But but not doing that and not respecting that from others can cause misunderstandings and can cause isolation for light workers.
Richard says, sorry, there was a comment here which I missed.
No,
anyway, I'll find it. I'll find it later. I thought I saw something here.
Yeah. So what do light workers suffer more from?
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the imposter syndrome?
Yes, the
Why are you
imposter
looking at
syndrome.
me?
No, I'm not looking at you. You don't suffer from it.
That's what you think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we all occasionally question our abilities.
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
mm,
And self-doubt, self-doubt, the impact,
lack
doubted
of self-worth, lack
self-worth. Yeah, am I
of
worthy? Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think every light worker I know has gone through that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's a part of a journey again.
yeah.
Iron Fire Horse says, I have isolated myself for a long while now. And I totally understand that because I was like this too. And that isolation is needed because when you're growing spiritually, when you're on a spiritual journey, and what I mean by spiritual journey is when you are aware that life is not just to live it, life is also to learn from it. We learn some lessons. What I'm trying to say is that some lessons have to happen when we're with ourselves and ourselves only. And it is that there is a part of that spiritual journey which we have to go without any other baggage but ourselves. And this is important because this is the time where we can go really deeply into ourselves.
Yeah, and we have a card for that. A very famous and card that comes a lot in not in our readings only, but also in our lessons. The card of introspection, the Hermit,
Yeah.
shining, of course, as you can see again. The Hermit shines his light on his life, on his situation, lights the narrow path ahead, and
I knew there was a comment. A life journey, says Richard, from being a hypersensitive person, which especially feels like a curse, to being a highly sensitive person, which is a blessing to others and definitely works in the light.
yeah,
And Magda says, I think being light worker comes with a big responsibility. Absolutely. Some people might have moments when they don't want to be on this path, but we are naturally being pulled back into our gifts and purpose. And this is so
absolutely.
important that you mentioned that. And thank you for bringing this to the table.
And Claire says what I said today.
This is so
we
funny.
talked about it today.
Let's read the comment first, so people would know what is what is here.
Push it.
2025, the year of Hermit as it reduces to 9. We had this conversation actually sitting at the table literally an hour ago because we were talking about the astrology, numerology, that 2025 will be indeed the 9th year. And Jan said, yeah, the Hermit. And I said, well, listen, I not necessarily would see this upcoming year as a hermit, maybe with the soul searching, yes, but with other aspects, not so much.
Yeah.
So we had a little discussion about that. So you should see Jan smiles once Jan smiled when he saw that.
Claire's on my side.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no to
No,
it.
no,
It's
you
just
don't say no.
I resonate.
And then, of course,
less with that.
We should never, and that goes for all the cards and all the tarot cards and all the archetypes. They're never one-dimensional. A hermit is not always
absolutely.
about solitude and pure introspection.
Yeah.
It's about gaining wisdom and growth.
And
So
bringing that light.
and bringing that light out
shining,
into the world.
Shining on the path ahead.
Yeah, bingo.
Yes.
So it's all about, and that's a big challenge, the balance.
Yeah, I think, and the Magda mentioned here before, that balance, that it's really hard to keep it up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets too heavy. Sometimes the burden is too heavy to carry. And it's easy to disconnect from that purpose because it's heavy burden, feeling other people and having that awareness of how important it is and seeing how others suffer and having that realization that they choose to suffer. is, I think, really important and hard aspect, because it's another thing when people suffer, but they don't know that there is a different path, different way. But I think, at least to me, the harder is when I observe people who suffer and who choose that suffering, who keep themselves in that
Contained,
yeah.
Yeah. And then we come to the counterpoint of that is, instead of the challenges, how do we thrive? So can we turn it into something positive, being a light worker?
Yeah, absolutely.
We can, don't you think?
There is so much goodness coming out of, there is so much, at least to me, so much satisfaction of helping others.
Yeah.
I am lucky enough to have people around me who turn to me in their darkest hours because they trust me and they know that I will always have a word of two of, at least just light-hearted energy and love.
I second that.
And this is so rewarding when having a simple conversation actually turns other people's energy, and it helps them to release that heavy burden and just turn back into light again.
Yeah.
And to me, this is the essence of doing that type of work, is to help others. And as I said, to me, is very rewarding and satisfying to help people change, even if it's the slightest, smallest change for better. It's worth it.
Thrive on the joy of doing it.
Mm,
Thrive on the joy of doing it, while also taking good care of yourself, the
yeah.
body, the internal body, food, drinks. What do you drink? What do you eat? What do you think? You know, can you stay positive in a world that's throwing negativity all over you? So self-care is very important.
Absolutely.
And then
protection,
boundaries.
I think that's a topic for a separate episode, or at least a big part, and how to protect ourselves. But you should see, guys, us when we are doing the work on holistic first, when there is not one or two clients, but there is a several amount of people. Like we talk here, 10, sometimes even 20 per day. And yes, the physical tiredness kicks in, the energetical tiredness kicks in, but we always are flying after that, because the feeling we get that kick of that positive energy when you see people who are sometimes frightened, scared, uncertain, in fear, in pain, in suffering, changing and shifting completely within the 30 minutes of working with them. And that my one of my favorite feedbacks is to, oh my goodness, I see the light already. Like I feel lighter already. This is just something that words can actually can't explain. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Yeah,
it happens. Yeah.
And then I know why you're looking at me, because another aspect of this is that continuous learning and embracing growth. And he knows that I'm a sucker for studying, growing, doing courses, learning new modalities, learning new ways of helping others. This is a part of who I am, and this is the part of every light worker. That constant need to grow, to improve, to study, to experience more, to learn more, and also reflect on how far we've come, what we've learned, what we've experienced. This is, I think...
what helps me in the work is, we work alone normally. We work together. That's already a big benefit. And within the holistic fairs, we are part of a wider community. And to me, that brings great joy too. Just not only working with people that you help, but also working with other people, other helpers, and have this network of helpers where you can share ideas, share topics, share feelings, share problems you're facing.
Yes.
Seeking community is so important.
And this is the part I love about that particular community, that there is no competition there. There are people who love each other, who support each other, who are nice to each other, working on the same goal, working with the same purpose, which is to help and guide and bring some light to other people. And
Yep.
this is very rewarding, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. So, well done.
Yeah. My goodness, I can't believe we've been talking here for an hour
An hour
already.
straight.
So
Yeah.
it's time to start wrapping up.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep you guys for too long. But before we go, we don't want to leave you without any guidance.
Yeah.
Jan holds a deck of tarot, and I have a deck of oracle cards here. And Richard says, no! Yeah, time flies when you have fun, and at least I'm having loads of fun while doing it. But let's spice things up.
Yep.
What we're doing.
Okay. How can you... So question 1. How can you identify the light worker within yourself?
Interesting.
Especially for our viewers and listeners.
Yes.
How can you identify the light worker within yourself?
I have a card here already.
Okay, I'll take one too. Oh, yes.
I have a good one here too.
I have a good one too.
So
well,
pick your cards. You can be drawn to 2 cards, and that's going to be
to me or both of us.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you chose this card, trust the niggle. What is niggling, feeling, trying to tell you? So in other words, what that voice of either intuition, sorry, I'm so close to the microphone, I'm probably screaming into your ears. What the voice of intuition, that nudging feeling is telling you. This is how you can identify by listening to yourself, by listening to your own guidance, but also the signs from the outside world, the signs from the universe. Look around. Ask the universe what you want to know, and I can assure you the universe will deliver.
Yes. Well, I pulled the Hierophant. Crazy, isn't it? So if you feel that you are a teacher, that you are a guide, that you are a guiding light for others, if people come to you for guidance, for help, then maybe, yes, if you identify as a Hierophant, if you identify as a spiritual teacher, sometimes a traditional teacher, or sometimes like a new Hierophant, I always call for, let's bring in new Hierophants with new ideas, fresh ways of working, fresh ways of helping. If you feel drawn to that, yep, there you go.
How to tap into your inner light, the light within you. Like the card for me twisted already before I even mentioned the question.
I'll see one popping out here. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting one for me. I'm using the same deck. Today I'm working with the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell.
And I work with the Toss Tarot as usual.
Yeah. Would you like to start with yours?
Yes. What was the question?
How to tap into within your own light. How to tap it. Yeah. How to reach that.
Yeah, I pulled the four of wands. The card in the Golden Dawn method, or the toss, is called completion. You can see a few things that the card shows: boundaries. So stay within your boundaries, stay safe, stay in a good place. But the light is in the middle here, of course. But also, sometimes you have to go outside of the boundaries. And if you see the four wands and the circle around them as your comfort zone, and then look, the grass is greener on the outside. So step out of your comfort zone, show yourself, be the true you. And become the Hierophant,
Mm.
become the light worker, become the teacher, the mentor.
I have a super interesting card, and I got even the guidebook out of it because the card I pulled is the Anna, grandmother of Jesus, sending the light, laying foundations, and divine plan. I'll show
Oh,
you the card closer.
yeah.
For
We
those
have,
who know me, for those who know my biggest secret is that my name is actually Anna, which I found hilarious to pull this card.
yes, it
But
is.
let me read one sentence from the guidebook, which I was really drawn to. Um, Anna, she is not widely known, but without her, Christ consciousness wouldn't be rising as it is today. Anna represents the quiet dedication that is sometimes required to live a life of service. She represents the generations that come before that devoted their lives to dreaming a new world into being while knowing that they would not see the glorious end results. So to me, that card is about, first of all, listening to yourself, your own intuition. You may come from the family of light workers. You may come from the line of people who came to this world to help others. But also, the question was how to tap into within the own light. Would you mind to pull the card closer to the screen? Because I would really love you to see the card here. And to me, is to listen to that inner voice again. And it's the same message I got before, is to listen to and trust your own intuition, trust your own wisdom, but don't expect others to see you, to recognize you, to be and to glorify you. Just do what you feel guided to do. Do what comes from your heart without that need of having that recognition and having that that payback. Just do what you feel drawn to do and basically do your job. If you feel like you're being guided to help, just do it. Sometimes even behind the scenes, and it will guide you. It will take you to where you need to be.
It does, yeah. Claire says, oh, the Hierophant, my sun sign. So we have a Taurus in the house. And that's also something we talked about today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing
How we are aligning with our
yes,
viewers
we're
and
so
everything.
connected and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
energy flows. So let's pull some guidance for our viewers for upcoming week.
For the week ahead, okay.
Yeah,
A
I
card for the
already
week
drew the
ahead.
card.
You managed to throw one out again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these cards are flying today.
Yeah.
This time I am using a different deck, the Starseed Oracle, also by Rebecca Campbell.
Mm-hmm. You want to start?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. So the guidance for those who picked this card here is longing for home, homesick for the stars, which to me represents tapping into your own self, your own guidance again. And it's so funny because to me it's the same message all over again, but also seek guidance from outside of you, connect with the universe, ask for those signs. And I already talked about it, and it's amazing. And see that higher picture. Look up in the stars. Perhaps even check your astrology chart, because it talks about here about being homesick for the stars, but it talks about stars. So perhaps your answers you will find in astrology. Perhaps there is a transit important in your chart right now, which will bring you a lot of answers. And also, if you can, go outside in the evening and stargaze for a while. You will feel better and you will feel so much renewed and refreshed. Be out with nature.
Yes, do. So your guidance, if you pick my card for this week, is represented by the Two of Discs or the Two of Pentacles, the
Mm.
Juggler card. What I always love to see in this card, and there we have, because the card has the Lemniscat, the ever naming change. The name of the card is the Lord of Change, but we also see the big theme of the last weeks when we move from the darkness into the light and wholeness, the yin yang. Of course, happens in the darkness, but it happens also in the light. The snake representing the change, of course, the change of skin, shedding your skin. And as you can see when you look closer, is the snake has a crown on, so it's there's royalty there.
Yeah.
But
It's also, I see it as a Kundalini rising as well.
Yeah. So embrace the change. Embrace the changes that you manifest. Embrace the changes that you're facing. We're getting closer and closer to the return of the light in a few weeks.
Yeah.
The winter solstice. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely. We will celebrate.
We will celebrate.
Yes.
Well, we probably will soon have an episode about the solstice.
In other words, embrace any phase you are in because it's a part of a journey and it's a part through darkness sometimes towards the light.
And embrace the change you're going through. That's the theme of this week.
Claire says, eternal perpetual cycles. I love that.
Yo.
And before we go, there is a comment from Richard here as well. Here's one thought. The more in the light you are, in your higher nature, the clearer and the stronger your instinct will be. Absolutely. That's a beautiful wrap up and summarize, because it's exactly what it is. The clearer and the lighter you are, the less distraction. Because the thing is, the higher you vibrate, the less thing can get you, because negativity is here, and if you're vibrating hard here, it just has no access to you. So much to think about. Thank you, Luna and Jan. And Claire says, love that Richard Lee drum. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you all, guys, for being here, for sharing this space with us. Yes. Thank you, Luna, for all your wisdom and good food.
Thank you, Jan.
And lovely conversations during the afternoon.
And Richard says, thanks, Luna. Thanks, Jan. Much love and blessings to you and the audience. We appreciate you guys.
And the time flew by.
Yeah. And sorry for holding you a little bit longer, but I hope it was worth it.
I think so.
Yes. So tap into the light worker within you and spread the love, spread the light, and see you next week.
Next week.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.